assume that you're getting booked because you're showing some skin. When you're getting booked because you're funny and you're a woman, not because.
And it's like this is me. Why should I have to apologize?
You're being authentically you.
Right.
That's like me.
And I have authentic cleavage. What am I gonna do?
Facebook people, welcome, 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 welcome. Today we have somebody amazing here for you to meet. You're gonna love her. I love her. She's been on here before. And I just want to read you her intro again in case you didn't see her before. In the other square by the coat rack. Maybe that's a microphone holder. No, it's a lamp. It's a torchiere lamp. Well, anyway, over there is Deb Maar. Who is Deb Maar? She's so beautiful. She's funny. She's fun to talk to. Here's her intro. Deb Maar recently graduated from 3 times a week therapy to 2 times a week. Starting to do comedy seriously last year and has already pissed off a lot of male comics. Winning, I added that. Making the sloppy transition from MILF to cougar by way of her stimulus check. And as the bat mitzvah, everyone said she sang like an angel. She's one of the founders of Chicks with Mics on a Facebook group, and it's also a mic weekly for women stand-up comics. They have a weekly open mic on Saturdays at 1 p.m. You can sign up on Thursdays, I think at 1 still. And welcome to the stage, Deb Maar. Woo! Hi.
Linda, it's so great to be back.
It's so great to be with you again. Oh my gosh, Deb, what's been going on?
Climate change. That's why I'm in a bikini in October. And wildfires, but I can have the windows open today. I had to learn how to read something called the Air Quality Index. I love learning new things. And let's see, my dog is still taking over my open mic sets. I recently had to translate for him because he wouldn't shut up. And thank goodness for my improv training, I could quickly think on my ass because that's where I am on my recliner on the armrest these days. I've got some projects going on. I'm learning how to interview people. I'm developing a show with a couple of comics that I've become close friends with here in our Zoom mic universe. And I'll have more information on that soon. We're going to be doing some test shows soon. Working title, The Deb Show.
The Deb Show?
The Deb Show.
Mm-hmm. So that's the name of your new show?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be on internet, or you'll tell me later?
So the friends that I'm working with, they're going to tell me where it's going to be on, because I'm clueless about all that. I think they're saying YouTube. I mean, NBC hasn't called yet. So it's probably going to be one of these like Twitch, right? Facebook, YouTube. I call it all for-profit cable access.
Wow.
That's what social media is. And so, I'll get in there next to you, next to everybody else, do my thing.
You're going to give me a run for my money, Deb?
I will open for you.
Oh my gosh. I like your delivery style.
Thank you.
I like who you are. You're a funny lady. Who do people say your comedy reminds you of? Them of?
One more. Sorry, I live on a busy street. One more time.
Who do people say you remind them of in comedy? Not in looks.
Oh, my first thought was just, a crazy relative. I don't hear too many comparisons. Actually, what do people say to you who do you remind people of?
Somebody dead. Always somebody dead.
And how does that feel?
I don't know, but sometimes I hear a little bit of Gracie Allen comments. That's a huge compliment.
But it's a huge compliment. She was brilliant. That timing.
Yeah, I don't see it. I aspire to her, but I don't see it. But I'll tell you who you remind me of.
Oh, yeah.
In your sincerity, you have a very strong sincerity about you.
Thank you.
And you have a very, I wouldn't say really dry delivery. To me, dry delivery is boring, and you're far from boring. I think you're a lot like Wendy Liebman, a lot. And your personality, is a lot like hers. You're serious, but you're seriously fun. You're just funny. You're not even trying to be funny, and you're funny.
I can die now.
I wish you would. No, just kidding. Then people
that's so nice of you. I'm not super familiar with Wendy Liebman. I know she's pretty prominent, and not like I have an excuse. That's very kind of you, and it's really helpful. I wish more people would have your perspective. It's very helpful to get that feedback, that mirroring, because especially with my background in a crazy family, I never got any reflection of how I came across.
Let's talk about that. Talk to me about your crazy background where you didn't get any mirroring. And for you guys out there, mirroring is when you get feedback on what you're doing well, how you're coming across.
Yeah, it's even, I have this great psychologist who specializes in early childhood development, and it's literally like when a mom says to a toddler, oh, wow, you're doing this thing, oh, wow, look at that rock you found. Isn't that lovely? No, my parents, I grew up with narcissistic parents. And so you just know your identity only in relation to what they need, right? And
I think you're a star.
I was in therapy 3 times a week. Yeah, what?
I think you're a comedy star in the making.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I watch you and I go, she's gonna make it.
No. I can't top that, Linda. That's amazing. I can't. Thank you very much. If I could just get to a place where I'm supporting myself, that would be the most exciting. But star, beyond that, I'll take it. That's really, especially at our ages, right?
I'm 40 also.
Right.
Are you 40?
I say I'm over 40.
Good.
Or I say I'm Gen X. And if you want to know more, you're just going to have to be an employee of the Department of Motor Vehicles to ever get that kind of access. And it's interesting. Times have really changed because, total side note, I'm single, surprise. And I'm on a dating app. I just expanded the ages. Guys are really different now from when I was younger. And so I have 24-year-olds. I am not kidding you. I have 24-year-olds trying to impress me, trying to get with me. So not yet in comedy, but in dating, things are evening out for us older women. And just waiting for the same attitude to permeate the comedy business, it's like, don't date me, book me for a date. Thank you very much. Right. So where were we? The mirroring. So, it's interesting. And we talked about this the last time I was on your show about, I didn't have a strong sense of myself. I couldn't really build a self-image, but I did have the desire to make the adults laugh. Right? I mean, I think we're born with that when we're comics. I think musicians hear music. I think you're just born with it. It's so funny because you'll sometimes hear somebody say, Eddie Van Halen, the rock guitarist, just died. And this morning when I woke up, my hair decided to do a tribute. It's pretty crazy. You'll hear people say, if only I practiced more, I could play guitar really well. And no, you're not hearing what Eddie Van Halen could hear in his head that he needed to replicate on the instrument. And you and I, we hear jokes, right? We hear punches, setups, scenarios, and then we work on articulating that as closely as possible. Nothing I say will ever be as funny as what pops into my head. That there's that super strong drive, right? And it's like, I wish I could just plug a cable into my brain so people can hear how this just pops up. And it's so good. And the process, since I came back to comedy last year, the process has really been, okay, how do I get closer and closer to conveying this stream, this creative stream? How do I peel away any of the barriers or the self-consciousness or, right, any of the anxiety or the self-doubt, and just let this pour out? So when I was a kid, it was so interesting because, it was a really tough, really abusive family. And, those are the cards I was dealt. I'm not looking for any sympathy. And I decided when I became an adult, I just was going to do whatever I could for my own health. For me, that meant cutting off from my family. That just was what I had to do for my sanity. And so it's definitely been a rough road. But
at what age did you break away from your family?
So that was about, I think, 22, 21, 22. It was very tough. And you only do it if, like, there's really no option. And so, sorry, I'm saying a lot. I'm practicing. So it was very rough, but your question is really good, because looking back when I was little, kids are resilient. We survive. And thank goodness for my humor. Thank goodness for my comedy, because it was really a life force for me. And having this thing I wanted to do feeling that excitement of being creative really kept me going through a lot of very rough years. And I do remember even in the midst of this craziness of these people who, these people who weren't well, there would be these openings, and I would make a joke. I would make a funny comment, and it would kind of take them by surprise. It was like this moment where they relaxed and they would stop being crazy for a minute. That's the power of this.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
And they would be caught off guard. This little kid, 8, 5, right? Just saying kind of an adult observation, right? And sorry, I don't remember them specifically, but just getting the timing and making a comment, and then they stop and they laugh, and sometimes despite themselves.
Yep.
And I remember my grandmother, Jewish grandmother from Brooklyn. They were all Jewish.
On both sides of your family, Deb?
Yeah, both sides, like
so
Russian, Polish, Austrian.
You're so lucky.
That's debatable. That's debatable. Sometimes I say I'm surviving growing up Jewish, but I am proud. So that's why, like, I have to stay out of the sun. This Ashkenazi skin, it's like skin cancer alert. Skin cancer alert.
Ashkenazi sunscreen.
That's what it should be called. That's a good one. That is so true. Yeah, just thick white. Yeah, right. Yeah, instead of Blue Man Group, it's a white man group. So anyway, she what would she say? My grandmother would just, it would catch her off guard, because they didn't laugh with each other. She and her husband, I mean, that whole situation, that was in the age they stayed married. But this was my grandmother. I kicked your grandfather out of the bedroom. I was like 9, okay? I kept getting urinary tract infections. I kicked your grandfather out of the bed, because it was like he was in like the kids' room when we were growing. She was in this giant bed in the master bedroom, and he was like in this room with 2 twin beds. And I don't know if I asked or not, but she would take it upon herself to inform us of their history so inappropriately. But this is, Manny, what, Helen? I mean, right? The yelling. I didn't know until I was maybe a teenager, when I went to other people's houses, and they did not yell across the house. They would walk to the room where the person was to talk to them. I had never seen this in my life. I don't know what it is about my people that I don't know if we resist exercise. Just can't take the few steps to the other room. But I was just like blown away. Wow, your mom actually walked 2 rooms over to tell your dad that dinner was ready. That's amazing. So this was this that I grew up around, right? My grandmother, your grandfather, the general, he didn't want to invest. They lived in LA, and she wanted to be the next Leona Helmsley. We could have been multi-millionaires, but no, your grandfather, the general, he wouldn't let me invest in real estate.
Sounds a little bit like Howard Cosell, I gotta say.
Sure. Well, I think he was from Brooklyn too. Yeah, she was from the Lower East Side and then Brooklyn, Canarsie, and then what was it? Yeah, we could have been multi-millionaires. Do you know? I'm like a child, okay? Like I said, like 8, 9, 10. And I was called Debbie, which is like kind of scary to think about now. Thank goodness for going far away to college. And I just said, oh, my name's Deborah. They had no idea what I was called back at home. And it was like, bam, new name, new identity. Debbie, do you know the 3 cardinal rules of real estate? Like what, she's raising a little realtor? I mean, what does she think? Location, location, location. Those are the 3 cardinal rules of real estate. We could have been multi-millionaires. I mean, this thing, shut up, Helen. And then the back, it was like opera, right?
Just like it.
Just like it. So yeah, not a lot of intentional humor. Oh yeah. But when I could interject something, when I could come in, when I could find that opening in the midst of this chaos, then I'm trying to remember what my grandmother what would she say? Debbie, like I said, it would catch her by surprise because they weren't relaxed. They weren't prone to laughter, and she'd be caught off guard. And Debbie, you're a card, something like this. So it was the only time, right? It was the only time I could get like a real interaction.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have about 10 minutes left on my clock to go. So I want you to know something quickly about myself. And then we'll get back to you. You just described my entire childhood.
Wow.
I ran away from all the dominating women in my family.
Wow.
I didn't run away from home, but if I had, it should have been when I was 3 years old and never come back.
Sure.
So yeah, I get it.
Right.
I totally get you.
Cool.
And I think that affects your comedy in such a powerful way.
Mm-hmm.
And what you just got through doing, that was just you talking about your family. I don't think you say this on stage, do you?
I haven't yet. Mm-mm.
That's the funniest thing I've heard in 6 months. It's good.
Thank you. Well, you make me feel relaxed enough.
It's comedy gold.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You could do Howard Cosell, Katharine Hepburn. I mean, there's so many.
He's very waspy. That'll take work.
Those are very similar voice inflections that you could do impersonations. I didn't know if she was Howard Cosell or Katharine Hepburn. Maybe Betty Davis.
Wow. Thank you. That's nice to test it out here.
Yeah. So then all you have to do is find an audience with a bunch of old people so they get the references.
Right. Right. It is strange. Things change so fast now. It is hard to find material that can bring all the generations together.
It is.
I don't want to do specific material for these little slices of the population. But yeah, the kids don't know Howard Cosell.
No. You can say, like I do a joke that's the punchline is Kim Kardashian is Gina Lola Brigida. Just because it's a funny name and I need a sexy person to put in there. And then I look at everybody and go, oh, young people, do me a favor. Take out Gina, throw in Kim Kardashian. It's the same joke.
Right. And then they get it. Right. Except between you and me, Gina Lola Brigida, much more woman.
Yes.
I mean, wow, what a bombshell.
Oh, we had bombshells. We didn't have people that shot themselves in the ass.
Yeah, right. There was that earthiness.
Yes. Like Marilyn Monroe, if you look at her measurements, they weren't that great. On paper. Maybe the bust.
I know them.
But hell,
Doesn't
like
matter.
she had hips on her, but she was a star quality, and that was an era where roundness was appreciated, not just in the ass,
No, it's the backlash to feminism. That's when the skinny, boobless, Northern European, the Scandinavian colonial princess really came on strong. I mean, I came up in that in the 80s of no hips, of looking like a little boy. And I'm an F cup, right? Wow. So, I wasn't gonna fit that at all. So right, beauty is very cultural. It is interesting to see that. And then now, like you're saying, women get augmentation, they're injecting their asses, but we were curvy. But now somebody has to be paid to make us curvy. There has to be this economy. There has to be a consumerist element to creating femininity. Kind of.
So let's plug all your stuff because I'm going to get off of here in 6 minutes.
Got it.
So you've got the Deb show coming up, so they can look for that on your page
on
Facebook. You've got Chicks with Mike Saturday at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern.
Okay. How many times do we have to tell East Coast people just to add 3 hours? When's that going to stop?
Never.
That's
the world now. It's so interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's important.
Well, I mean, I try to look at the positive in that I never knew comics on the East Coast before. I'm making these connections literally all over the world. I have friends in the United Kingdom. I did a show. I was invited to do a show a couple weeks ago with comics from the Liverpool area. So if I have to add or subtract hours,
it's a little price to pay.
It's a little price to pay. Exactly.
It's so worth it. But it's kind of funny, because like my entire life, it's add 3 hours for the East Coast. And it's like, it hasn't changed.
Right. Well, I try to just, if I give one time, I'll try to just make sure like Pacific time or California time, because somebody could see this.
Yes.
Know where they are. They don't know where we are. You and I are in the Pacific time zone. I'm in San Francisco. You're Las Vegas. So we don't have to correct it between ourselves.
It's also new for all of us to be in this together like this.
Right. We are We're literally broadcasting to the world.
Yes. So where on the internet do you want traction for people to come and follow you and help your numbers?
Well, I have PTSD. I don't want any increase in numbers. That's a joke. I'm scared of people. Find me on Facebook. I never know how to say the account name. You know, it's Deb at Deb Maar, DEBMAAR. If you just look for that in San Francisco. I'm meditating in a refrigerator in my profile picture. I don't think anybody else has that right now.
No.
That's how you know it's me. And yeah, that's
try it at home. If you're children, don't try it.
Yes.
Okay, so you're on Facebook as Deb Maar. Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram. Also, I think it might be Deb Maar. That's how hip I am with the Instagram.
What about Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter yet.
Okay.
With the ADD, it's really, really hard to try to be current with several platforms. The plan is, if you're right, is to get successful enough that other people can do that for me. Well, it's just me, especially running the group, the Chicks with Mics group. Bandwidth is narrow.
Yeah. How is Chicks with Mics doing right now?
It's wonderful. It's over 400 members. It's all word of mouth. The Saturday mic is so special. You did it before. I would love to have you again. It's just, well, why don't you describe, how was that for you?
It was a bonding experience, you guys. Go to if you've never done comedy and you want to watch women, or if you have done comedy and you're open to doing a mic, try her mic. It's very welcoming. She makes you as comfortable as I make her right now. You're not on edge. You can be yourself there. Right.
It's a really open, safe space to try out your material, especially women-centric material. You don't have to worry about guys' egos and the quality. These are women from all over, and it's so exciting because the writing quality, the performing quality, even women just trying out new stuff is it's impressive to me every time. It's just such an exciting project.
I'll go sign up today at 1:00. If there's room for me, I'll sign
up. Tomorrow.
Today's Wednesday.
So it drops Thursday.
Got it. Okay, I'll go there tomorrow. So I need to get off and go to a class. I'm taking a class from the amazing Vanessa Hollingshead.
Wonderful.
If you've never heard of her, you look up her Showtime video, you'll die. She used to be married to the owner of Comic Strip Live in New York City, but that's a way past thing in her life. Like not even a topic to bring up. Really, she doesn't want to talk about it. But just to let you know the history of the level of professionalism, she's been around the business for 30 years. She can do an act out that will have everybody peeing in their pants and rolling in their pee.
That's the greatest comedy ever.
Yes.
I love rolling in my pee.
Totally. All right. Well, thank you so much. You guys, this was Deb Maar. Every time I talk to you, we open up layers where I want you to come back and talk more.
Happy.
So I'm gonna hit you back up to come back on and talk more.
Okay, hit me. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
I adore you.
Oh, likewise.
Go get them, girl.
It's the only way we get to see each other because we're so busy. I'll take it.
Yes, I'll go sign up tomorrow for Chicks with Mics.
Yay.
Sign up Thursday 1 o'clock for the Saturday 1 o'clock Mike Pacific, 4 Eastern, and a couple somethings in the middle.
And any member of Chicks with Mics can be in the audience, and we often, some people have to drop out, so there are often spots the day of. So if you miss the sign up on Thursday, do not worry. We fit in as many folks as we can. It's a great time.
Wonderful. You're the best.
You are too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.